We are going through this countdown leading up to the Seahawks' first game, which is, of course, just 3 weeks away, not even now. And so today we are on to
number 15.
All right, the number 15 most intriguing Seahawk is Demarcus Lawrence. We haven't seen him yet in the preseason because he's an older player, veteran player. Not a huge surprise. By all accounts, a tremendous leader. And I think we've seen some of that of him on the sidelines during games. The leadership element, I have zero questions about whatsoever. Byron Murphy was talking about it.
D-Law, special guy, man. He's crazy. He's wired different. He's wired completely different. But, man, I feel like a guy like that in our room, that's what we need. You know, he's a guy, he's a leader. You know, he keep us going. You know, he always positive. You know, and he always, you know, putting this, he's just always leading us in the right direction, you know. He's being that vet, that savvy vet he is, you know, 12 years in the game.
I like that. He's always leading us in the right direction. It's a really nice way of saying it from Byron Murphy. And I think they did need some of that. They did need one of those adults in the room with the old man's strength, and he certainly has that. We watched him as he picked up Abe Lucas and moved him back about 4 yards. Abe talked about it himself.
He loves a beast. He's always been a beast. And, you know, when we went out and acquired him, I was stoked. I was really, really excited about it because I knew that I was going to be going against him and competing against him, and it was only going to make me better. And he, in my mind, is one of the most complete defensive ends in the NFL, if not the most complete. Like, he stops the run. He knows how to read it, and he's relentless, and he has an arsenal of just pass rush moves dialed in. So, I mean, I'm excited that I get to compete against him every day.
Yeah, so all of those things are huge for the team, right? Loved him, and I love the signing. I'm excited about Demarcus Lawrence. And when you watch him out there in practice, he certainly stood out. And I know he can set the edge. I know he can stop the run. I love it. Can he be a pass rusher at this stage in his career that can actually get to the quarterback, that can affect the game, that can open things up for the other guys around him? And I just don't know yet. I mean, that's why he's intriguing to me, because if he can do all those things, then you don't need to go trade for Trey Hendrickson. Not that it would be a bad thing, but it kind of minimizes the importance of another pass rusher.
Yeah.
You know, he was opposite Micah Parsons for all those years. Parsons is getting a lot of sacks. Was some of that because of the attention paid to Demarcus Lawrence? I don't know. I'm excited to find out whether or not he can help Boye Mafe and Derek Hall and the other guys in this defense, get to the quarterback on money downs where you got to be able to do that.
We have seen veteran players come in here kind of at the end of it. Terrell Owens, like we you know, Seahawks have certainly through Pete's years, and you bring in veteran guys to kind of see what they've got left in the tank. You know, they signed some of those guys to deals, you know, somewhat similar to Lawrence's, which is really kind of a one-year deal. I think him and Cooper Kupp probably very similar in this conversation of established veteran players, so well respected by their opponents because their opponents know these guys, when healthy, are really good players. I would say just out at practice, you know, watching it for the last 3.5 weeks, all the other eyewitnesses out there, I've not heard one of them any murmur about Demarcus Lawrence slowing down. If anything, it's like, sheesh. You know, he's gotten some veteran days, as he should. They want to make sure they get him to the starting line as healthy and feeling as good as possible. But he looks like, I don't know, kind of a Dwayne Brown comp, again, to another veteran player that they traded for him. But when he came, you're like, yeah, that dude's still got football in him. Lawrence still got football in him.
I mean, when
Cooper?
we watched him take Abe Lucas and drive him back and up into the air, I was like, oh, my Lord.
Yes.
This dude is strong.
Yes.
Freaky
Remarkably strong. And Brady has said this multiple times on the show, and it, you know, kind of quoting other players and Mike McDonald, like, this dude just looks like a giant. I mean, he's 255 pounds. He plays like he's 285 pounds, to DJ's point about some of these defensive linemen and some of the size. He's not one that, he's kind of Frank Clark-ish in that way. Frank was a powerful, powerful guy. You didn't have to be 300 pounds to bring that kind of power, and Lawrence is in a similar vein.
Well, and as we know, veteran players like him who had some moments, but maybe had a little bit of a downturn in their career, have sparkled at times under Mike McDonald's system. We saw it with Clowney. We saw it with Kyle Van Noy. Like, it's not unheard of for a guy like Demarcus Lawrence to get into this scheme, and it just unlocks his abilities again and rejuvenates him. So for all of those reasons, plus the leadership, plus he's just cool. Like, he got to be on this list. And so number 15, most intriguing Seahawk for me is Demarcus Lawrence.
Number 14.
All right, so admittedly, this player could probably be a little higher. This one, I think when I wrote it a week or two ago, it felt right, but after watching 2 games, it maybe feels a little bit low. But number 14 is Gray Zabel. And yeah, he's their first round pick. He is the guy you're counting on to come in and really change what's happening with the offensive line. And quite frankly, through 2 games, he looks like he's going to be able to do that. Here is his offensive coordinator and my new man crush, Clint Kubiak.
You see, as a rookie, he's ready for the moment. It's not too big for him. He belongs out there. He's got a long way to go, but I love the mentality, love the makeup, and I think that's John Snyder drafting a guy with a big heart that loves to work, and that comes from his work habits, and it comes from his mom and dad, the way he's raised.
Yeah, and we got a sense of that when we talked to him. Obviously, Brock, we've done it a couple of times, and you feel that sort of down-home, authentic, hard-working kind of a guy. That's all great, but you got to go out there and actually perform, and making the jump from a smaller school to, the toughest competition in the world is not easy. And at least through the first couple games of the preseason, it looks like he's handling it incredibly well. I don't know whether he's going to be Steve Hutchinson. I mean, that's a lot to ask of anybody. It's a Hall of Famer. But can he be somebody that is a focal point of the offense and of the offensive line? If he can, then this is a home run pick from John Schneider and a complete game changer for the Seahawks' ability to do what they want to do. Brian Baldinger, very impressed early.
This is exactly what we saw at the Senior Bowl this year. The exact same thing. This is a player. Here he is on the slide away, right? He just wires his guys up. I mean, he saw some good players last night. Adam Butler is a good player, real good player. But he did a great job last night. It was fun to watch him. They're better. They're better up front with Gray Zabel. Everybody should get a Zabel jersey. Start buying them now. They're going to fly off the shelves. This guy is going to be in the breakdown every week. I can tell it already.
He's going to be in the breakdown every week. Are we going to get to talk to Baldy this week? I hope we can.
Hope so.
I really enjoy how much he's been excited about the whole line in general, but specifically Gray Zabel. And that's just an enormous important thing for these Seahawks.
I'm a little scared.
Why?
Because literally, as you were talking initially, I was like, I had about 3 different thoughts in my head.
And then I said them.
And then you said every single one of them, down to Steve Hutchinson. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, click on that one. Okay, click on that one. Okay, good. He's not going to get to He just got to Hutchinson.
I know. Sorry,
Holy
my bad.
Smokes.
Yeah. What do you think? I just come up with this stuff off the cuff? I'm doing a lot of prep on these guys. All right, I'll give you one other thing about Gray Zabel. In addition to all of the on-field stuff is the off-field personality and what he brings to that locker room, what he brings to the offensive line room. Brock, you've always said that, personality of a team tends to stem from the offensive line room. And whether it's him talking about, was it Keystone Lights or Coors Lights, whatever it is he likes to drink, Busch Lights. That's what it was, Busch Lights, to chugging Gatorade with Charles Cross.
Yep, just trying to show some of the Midwest traditions to Charles here as we start to grow closer and get to know each other a little bit more.
When you shotgun Gatorade, does color matter? Like the color of the Gatorade matter?
No, not at all.
Not at all? You don't have a preference or a choice when you're chugging Gatorade?
Not really. I mean, I'm a huge lemon lime guy. That or Glacier Freeze are my 2 go-to.
So, first of all, those things actually, that answer kind of bothered me right at the end. Lemon lime? People still prefer yellow Gatorade?
Yes.
Crazy to me.
You know what I had last
With all
you know what they're making now?
No.
Mashups.
What is it?
A mashup.
A mashup?
mashups
of Gatorade flavors. Like they're
Yes.
mixing two together.
They're pretty good.
Really? Is it like getting a graveyard at a bowling alley or something?
It's pretty good, Salt. It's pretty good.
I don't know, man. First of all, he calls Gatorades by their name rather than by their color, which I think is weird. But also, like, blue Gatorade is really a superior flavor at this
Agreed.
point. Like, all the various blues are a
I
lot
think he was
better
just trying
than
to be
lemon
nice to
lime.
you, Salt. Like North Dakota nice right there.
Okay.
Well, I think the glacial one he mentioned is the blue one.
No, I think that's a clear.
No,
like
that's
the
a
white,
clear,
clear to
Maura.
white.
Oh.
Yeah, Maura, that's a clear one.
I think
bad.
that's that like cherry flavor clear white. In any event, he's going to be pretty important.
He is. And I can't help because in 2001, I was around Steve Hutchinson as a rookie. I told many of those stories of him in the locker room. And now their personality is a little different. Hutch was a little more New York Times crossword puzzle guy, a little more grumpy kind of guy. And Tobeck and Walter Jones were so good for him. Gray Zabel has got a little more of that just, I don't want to say naivete, but just a North Dakota kind of nice.
Could he? Never mind.
And yet, I see exactly in their game the exact same ease of movement. And listening to Baldy in most all of these breakdowns, and he talks about wiring up and slide protection, when he talks about the ease to the second level, when you've heard people and all the little clips shown over the weekend of him in this run game, Steve Hutchinson was just unique, Salk. You'd watch him run the day after the game. We had to do these 100-yard gassers. And while I am looking like, who was the old actor? Steve. Why do I look like Holmgren said this to me when I was trying to run, and it was not a compliment. I watched Steve Hutchinson run, and he just glides. He just glides. Him and Walter Jones, just like you could just simply watch the 100-yard little flush runs that we would do the day after the game, and you would say, "Oh, there's your Hall of Famers." Just look at the ease of movement of those two guys. Versus everybody else feels a little bit painful to try to carry around those three, and it just hurts. Their bodies hurt, and Steve was such a good athlete. It never felt like his body hurts. Gray Zabel is such an elite athlete. It just looks like, yeah, man, this is the ease of movement that comes with playing the game the way I play it.
Number 13.
All right, number 13 is tight end A.J. Barner. Number 13 is tight end A.J. Barner. For a couple of reasons.
You were younger, Salk, and you could do number 20 was 19, 18.
Ooh, could I still do that? Yeah, probably
No
not.
chance.
Yeah, I don't think I have that in me anymore. Yeah, it's probably not my jam. He's intriguing for a few reasons, though. One, played really well last year, and by all accounts, he's starting to grow into it a little bit, right? I mean, he progressed as the year went on, so much so that by the end of the year, I thought he looked really good. He has been tremendous in camp, tremendous in the preseason games. He is a phenomenal combination of ability to block and an ability to, I think in this offense especially, to do all the things they want a tight end to do. He's also intriguing because he just seems like an interesting guy. Like, we've had him on. He's funny. He's entertaining. He's thoughtful about what he has to say. It seems like he does a very good job of fitting in with everybody. And I mean that in a really positive way, not like he's a chameleon, more just like, oh, you need me in the offensive line room because I'm kind of an offensive lineman? I can do that. You need me in the wide receiver room because I'm kind of a receiver? Oh, I can do that. You want me to hang out with the running backs? I can do that. He's a guy that just, I think, has a lot of different interests and a lot of different facets to his personality. We asked him what he would want his coaches to say about him.
I mean, I'm a Hawk, man. I'm a Hawk, whatever the culture is that we got here. Well, I know the culture it is, and that's me. And I feel like I love being here. And what I said about, the opportunity, like, I'm really going to take it and run with it. And same with the rest of the guys. And I love being here, and I want to go show that.
I kind of just like the attitude. I like the way he talks. I like the way he plays. I don't think I'm the only one. Clint Kubiak, who's become one of my favorites, says that AJ is actually one of his favorites.
AJ has had a really good camp, and every opportunity that he's had, he's made a play. A lot of contested plays, but he's doing a lot of dirty work blocking in the run game that's helping us spring some big runs. And I just love his mentality. He's all football. He loves the game, loves to compete. And he's just one of my favorite guys out there because when he gets going, he gets excited. The whole group just starts to light up.
Have they had a tight end similar to him, Brock? Is there a tight end that jumps out to you who's been similar to A.J. Barner? I can't really come up with one. We haven't seen a lot of that around here.
Yeah, like the numbers, the reason he was a 4th-round pick, because the numbers don't blow you away. Now, the size, he's a legit
big.
6'6", 250.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big tight end. I think of a lot of the guys, 6'3", 6'4". There's differences in being a target at 6'6" with a really good catch radius. I mean, yeah, he's more, he's kind of a blend.
Yeah, he's much more physical than Noah Fant. Not that takes much.
And Jimmy.
He's much more physical than Jimmy, but he's probably not as good a receiver yet as those guys were. Like,
Right.
I just don't think they've got there hasn't been a really good comp. Zach Miller, maybe, if you want to go all the way back, but he wasn't
Zach
tall
was-
like that.
Zach was like 265.
Yeah, he was squat, right?
He was a big, powerful man. Holy
And
smokes.
so was what was his name? Billy Bozeman. What was the nickname?
Yes,
What was his nickname? Wasn't it that?
it was Billy Bozeman.
Billy
yes.
Bozeman, right? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he's different. And because of that, I'm pretty excited about what he's capable of doing. I think that if you want to have, and we've said this before, a physical run first balanced kind of an offense, tight end is one of those positions where you can set the tone, where you can decide who you are. They're an identity position. He agreed.
I just feel like me personally and us as a position group, I think we got to bring a lot of energy to the field and kind of be on that little bit of play with some swag to us, a little mean, for lack of a better term, to us. And just bring that, to the defense that we're playing. Because I feel like last year, I think DK played with some of that on the outside. And at times we had that, but, we need that all the time. And like I kind of mentioned before with the intensity that we're playing with, the whole offense is doing that. And when you bring it to the edge, creating a new line of scrimmage and creating a new edge for us, we're at the forefront of that at the tight end position. So that's something that, I'm really going to make an effort to do this year. And it's kind of something that I've already brought to the table and just need to bring it to another level.
So I guess the last thing for me, Brock, is that I enjoy that he is a pretty good combination of fun and funny and sort of that laid back, cool guy drawl. But then when you actually listen to him, he's got some pretty intelligent insights about the team and what they're trying to do. You put it all together, and he's the 13th most intriguing Seahawk.
Yeah, and it was Mike McDonald, I think, when you asked him, hey, who have been some surprises? He pointed to AJ. It's just like that voice is real. Last year, I remember being on the field with Mario Bailey, and I don't think he'd mind me saying this. And I was just like, hey, what are your eyes seeing? Right? My old Seahawk teammate, and obviously an unbelievable University of Washington receiver, one of the best ever. And he's like, man, I like our 4th-round tight end. He just got some dog in him. You just got, and there's guys, Salk, and you kind of figure this out doing what I'm doing now, where you hear voices, but sometimes those voices are just echoing the coaches or saying things that they should say, right, or should be said, versus, no, this is like just deep down in his core, dude's just kind of got that edge and voice. And I think it's very real with him. And I think we're going to continue to hear more and more of that. And, oh, by the way, you know what else is intriguing? You can become a star as a 4th-round tight end. That's happened. George Kittle was a 5th-round tight end. I know they get picked high, and the guys with elite traits like Brock Bowers that run 4.4, 4.5, or the kid a couple years ago, Pitts out of Florida, that are just freakish in their traits, can get picked in the 1st round. But you can become an absolute stud and difference maker as a mid-round pick, which is where he was.
All right.
Number 12.
I don't know that this guy would have been on the list, or certainly this high on the list, before training camp started. But as we sit here today, Tory Horton is the number 12 most intriguing Seahawk because he's worked his way into starting reps. He's maybe bumped MVS off this roster. He's jumped ahead of Jake Bobo and Derek Young and put them in a competition for really a roster spot in all likelihood. And he seems to be establishing the one thing that this offense doesn't really have, which is that sort of explosive, deep threat, traditional number 1 kind of receiver. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be the best receiver on the team, certainly not year 1, day 1. But it does mean that he can maybe play that role as what is it, the X receiver, right? The guy who is on the line of scrimmage, running deep, taking coverage away from guys who are probably a little bit more suited to playing the other side, like Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba. So he is a lot higher on my list now than he would have been even a couple of weeks ago. We'll see what happens with the injury. Obviously,
he wouldn't have been on the list going into training camp.
Probably would not have been. I didn't even think he was going to be able to play right away.
He didn't participate much in the OTAs. They were very guarded and very careful with the catastrophic injury a year ago. And there's no way he makes top 25, fifth round pick, Salk, who didn't participate really in the offseason.
But this idea that he could have been a top 3 round pick, maybe a second rounder in all likelihood if he hadn't been hurt, and now seeing him healthy, you can see very quickly why that conversation took place. Here's what his offensive coordinator likes about him.
Well, usually you play how you practice, and he's put together some solid practices. He's still a rookie with a lot to learn, and there's new details he's going through every day. But it was good to see when the lights came on, he was the same guy he was here on the practice field.
Well, and we did get to see that in the first preseason game. Unfortunately, now he's got this little ankle injury that he's dealing with, so we'll see what that ends up meaning when it's all said and done. But I think you are really, really he's filling a need. I guess that's why he's so intriguing.
He's got a trait that the others don't have.
Yeah, right? Like he's just got this speed-size combo they don't have.
That's right. Other than MVS, and MVS, again, is almost a decade into this league and been in a lot of different spots for different reasons.
We talked about some of that confidence and cockiness with Jordan Palmer. Generally, you want a wide receiver to have at least some of that, and it sounds like he does. Here he is telling the story of his 40 time.
I got cleared, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks before the combine, and the trainer was like, hey, we're going to work. And we're gonna see how bad you really want to go run at the combine. And they gave it to me real. They was like, it's gonna be hard, but we believe with your competitive mindset you can go do it. So it was quite a push, and I wasn't 100%. I wasn't even 70%. So that just goes to my competitive nature of going out there and seeing those other guys run.
Wasn't 70%, but ran a 4.41 140. So clearly there's some confidence there, Brock.
You know what else he's got I think about, and actually Jordan spurred some of this thought as he talked about Cooper Kupp and JSN. As good as a QB room is, that is a great wide receiver room too. Tariq Young and Jake Bobo. I mean, you're talking high football IQ guys. Experience with MVS, experience with Cooper. JSN's still a young player, but I would co-sign 100% what Jordan said about just feel. Those are feel and instinct guys. And as you try to learn, hey, man, how did you see that? How did you know that? Well, you bank all these reps, and, kind of like Josh Naylor watches every play and every pitch and every movement to learn. You got to do the same. And he's got just some tremendous people in that room elevating his game as well.
So there you go. Number 12 on our most intriguing Seahawks list is Tory Horton, a guy that very rapidly climbed the list.
Number 11.
Yeah, one person guessed it here on the text line. It is, I thought, actually fairly easy. Number 11 most intriguing Seahawk is the big cat himself, Leonard Williams. I think he might be the best player on this team. I don't know that I could say that definitively. I'm not saying he is definitely the best player on this team. There's a couple guys, I'm sure, that are in that conversation and in the running, but he sure might be. And any conversation about who the best player on this team is has to include Leonard Williams. And doing it at a position of such great importance in the current NFL game, and his ability to play the run, his ability to play the pass, his ability to get to the quarterback, his ability to make everyone around him better, his ability to be a leader. I mean, you put it all together, and Leonard Williams is a truly fantastic football player. I've really enjoyed getting to watch him here over the last couple of years. I'm glad they traded for him. I'm glad they signed him. I think it's one of the best moves John has made in the last 5 years. I know people have talked a lot about the drafts, and they've been very good. But I don't think any of it works the same way, Brock, without bringing in Leonard Williams. And I know you said that, you get nervous about bringing in a player and then paying them right away and the reaction in the locker room. I get it. And they didn't pay him right away. They brought him in, and then it wasn't until the offseason that they paid him. But I think what DJ brought up the other day made a lot of sense. It depends on who that player is. And when they're as well respected as Leonard Williams, I think it works very well. When they're as well respected as he said Trey Hendrickson is, I think it could work very well. But Leonard Williams has done everything asked of him and more. He's probably not higher on the list here just because of the Cal Raleigh thing, which obviously I ended up being very wrong about. But like, I would be pretty surprised. I'm not going to say it's impossible if he came out and had like 18 sacks this year or did something just totally remarkable that he's never done in his career, especially at his age. I think that's what keeps him from being a top 10 most intriguing conversation. But in terms of what he brings to the team, in terms of importance, if he's not in the top 3, I don't know that I could come up with anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, as you've been talking here, I'm trying to think, just kind of back against the wall, like who's a better football player on this roster than Leonard Williams?
More complete? I don't think I can come up with anybody. I really don't. I think the world of him and what he's able to do. And so does Mike McDonald, and yet he still keeps asking for more.
Man, he's one of our driving forces. You know, you got to give him a lot of credit on his approach since, we met him a year ago. We knew he was an awesome guy. We knew he was a great football player, but what we needed from him was more in terms of a leadership role and asserting himself. And he does it his style, but, at this point in your career to challenge yourself to take it to another level, I think that speaks volumes for who he is. And our coaches, they deserve a shout out too because they saw it in him and work with them, consistently. Leslie does a great job with that AD. Obviously, we love him, but there's high expectations too. I mean, he's got to win. He's got to win rushes. He's got to be disruptive in the run game. He's got to set other guys up when they're giving him attention in the blocking or in their protection scheme. So, but that's what you want as a premier player. You want that added attention.
He is a premier player. He's a smart player. He seems like a really smart guy every time. I mean, he's very thoughtful. I think he gives you a nice look into what the team is doing and how they're feeling at any point, and the coaching staff and everything else. He's just been one of those guys that I think has done an excellent job in every part of the game, everything it asks for.
I think what you hear from Mike McDonald, and once again, just, some of these coaching optics now that I'm getting to see things through, what you want is your best players, your most talented, most gifted players. And he is right there with Devin Witherspoon. You want them to be that term that he uses, a force multiplier. I don't want you to just be individually great and be okay with that. I want you to stretch yourself to really be a force multiplier and make everybody around you better.
So he definitely does that on the field.
Very, very best.
Yeah, I think that's right. The word that maybe I keep coming back to as I think about it is just respected. He's just incredibly well respected in this league, in this locker room. You heard his teammate Ernest Jones talk about him.
To be as big as he is and to do the things that he does is insane to me. The way he can play the run, get out, rush the passer, man, hold up 2-3 blocks at a time. It makes my life so much easier playing behind him, Murph, Jay Reed, Hank. So Leo's a dog, man, and he's been doing it for a while, and it's finally people are starting to recognize and see how really good he is.
Yeah, and he was on the NFL top 100 list, probably not as high as he should have been, but again, you hear more of the respect from around the league.
He's so explosive off the ball.
Inside, Leonard Williams gets in there.
He plays with finesse, but finesse with power, and he's able to create so many plays and be very disruptive.
Going nowhere, it's Leonard Williams again.
To be year 10 and to be playing at this production clip is insane.
Yeah, and that pick last year against the Jets, I mean, just very few humans on planet Earth of his size have that kind of agility, mobility, explosiveness, speed, coordination, everything. It's unique. And then last year was a huge step up. What was it, 11.5 sacks? 18.5 tackles for loss.
Yeah, he was unbelievable.
So it was putting those numbers and making that kind of impact. Can he do that again this year?
I don't see why not. Right? I mean, there's no reason he can't do it. Doesn't mean he will, but there's no reason he can't. He's not so old that everything's going to just fall off the cliff for him at this point. So
Demarcus Lawrence should help. I think Byron Murphy, as Wyman was talking about yesterday on his show, and one of his observations from camp is he's taking a step into that sophomore year of doing more and wanting to do more. Jaron is still around doing his thing. So all the pieces of the puzzle are around him. And we know this on the defensive line. It takes those pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You want an elite defensive line? We've seen it. Won a Super Bowl here. You got to have not 4 guys, not 5 guys. You need like 7, 8 guys all doing their thing and doing it at a high level.
Well, he's the leader of that group, and that's why he is the 11th most intriguing Seahawk. Next week, we'll do 10 through 6, and then obviously 5 through 1 will be leading up to the first game here in a couple of weeks.